All right, it is 7:30 p.m. and we have established a quorum. I'd like to call the library trustee board meeting for the month of November to order. We have the attendance sheets currently being passed around. And if we could step for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Next we have the resolution to adopt the agenda. Yes. Okay, we'll make a motion to adopt the agenda as printed for this meeting. I'll make a motion. And can I get a second? Sure. Those in favor? Opposed? So the resolution to adopt the agenda has been motioned and seconded and therefore passed. Next, we'll have the approval of minutes. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. Second? Any questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, approval of minutes have been motioned and passed. Okay. Next up, we'll go with the WLS representative report. David.
Good evening.
Hello.
The Budget Committee of the Board of Trustees met 4 times through September and October to review a number of options in order to arrive at the budget proposal for the 2026 fiscal year, which is currently in progress. Budgeted revenues are projected to be a total of approximately $7.25 million from all sources, which is 1.9% less than the 2025 budget and about 1.9% less than the 2025 projected total. Allocations from Westchester County, New York State are projected to decrease by approximately 5% over 2025. Member library fees are projected to be about 2.7% above the 2025 budget. In 2026, the expenses before depreciation are budgeted to exceed revenues by about $490,140. To fill that gap, restricted assets, otherwise grants, were earned in prior years will be spent in 2026. And the Budget Committee has recommended that WLS appropriate unrestricted assets to cover that deficit. WLS is in good fiscal shape. We hold over $3.05 million in reserve cash and cash equivalents. And as the year progresses, if anticipated budgets from the county and the state are higher than expected, we can adjust the budget as so, or we could decrease expenses throughout the year if that's felt necessary in order to compensate. So spending will be monitored against the budget on an ongoing basis. And management will continue to explore any cost savings opportunities and additional sources of revenues throughout the year, including grants. In terms of trustee education opportunities, there's one coming up November 18th at 5 to 6:30 p.m., which is online. Next level trusteeship, building an effective and impactful board culture. Any questions?
Questions?
Yeah.
Was there a reason why we had this 1.9% deficit?
I think mostly from decreases in funding from the state and county.
Thank you, David. Next up is the president's report, and I'll report out on that. First thing is, as a board, we have decided to extend the strategic plan date to 2028. And a large part of that is due to our executive director coming on board and only having 3 years to really get up and running. And we're doing a lot of changes within the organization. And so we want to make sure that we marry our strategic plan to the changes that we're making. So we do need the extended time. One of those things specifically I would point to is the looking at architects to do just a design or, a space study on how we can get the most out of the library. For those that are watching or looking at the minutes, if you go to New Rochelle Public Library, you'll see that there's an audit that was completed back in 2019 and 2020. And during that audit, there are recommendations that we are just getting to as a board. So because of those are just a few reasons, but those are reasons we're extending the strategic plan to 2028. And that's one part. The next thing on the press report is the board is working with the leadership of the Friends to address safety, fiscal, and collaboration items. And we anticipate having a written agreement for review at the next, or at an upcoming board meeting. Hopefully it's the next one, but that's our goal. Right. And that is it from the president's report. And we'll go to the director's report.
Thank you. So hello. For those who saw the written report, we were very excited to launch our first ever adult volunteer program. So this was inspired by feedback from our community. People wanted places to volunteer, and volunteers have always been an essential part of our success. They've assisted with programs behind the scenes and strengthened our connection to the people that we serve. So any adults, we already have a vibrant and active teen volunteer program. For this, adults 18 years of age and older will be able to lend their time and talents in meaningful ways to help the library. So we have an online application that is now active on our website. We also have paper applications for those who want to fill one out at the service desk. And we're really excited about welcoming a new crop of volunteers and learning about their talents and how they can best help and grow the library. We had our shared ribbon cutting with the Library Foundation. It was a beautiful event that they hosted, and we were so glad to be there. And the grand opening of the Children's Garden, which occurred 2 weeks prior to that, had over 400 people attend. We had performances by songcatchers, Rock Your World Kids. We had crafts, pumpkin painting, decorating. We had a storybook character in a costume that kids were taking their pictures with. The outdoor newly renovated pavilion is expanding our space for children's programming, which we're very excited about. We have only one program space, which for a library of our size with as vibrant a set of offerings as we have is very limiting. So the idea that we would have this additional program space for children's program and potentially for adult programs. We had had the foundation event after hours. Having the opportunity to have an additional programming space adjacent to the children's room is really a fantastic use of that underutilized space. And we're really grateful to the foundation for securing the ARPA grant, which fully funded the project, and for all of our team members who helped bring that project to completion, especially thanks to the Buildings and Grounds Committee as well for the work that was done to move that project forward. So unless there are any questions, thank you.
Thank you, Eugenia. We'll move along to, we're going to move past the treasurer's report, but again, we'll have a report out in her committee for that. I'll let her speak to that. Next, we'll go to committee reports, and we'll start with budget and finance.
Yes.
Which is Rihanna.
Okay. The Budget and Finance Committee did not meet last month, but we have been nonetheless continuing our work. We have continued in our search for a treasurer and have been successful in finding a great candidate. And we're in the final stages of completing the offer and the acceptance. And we're looking forward to our new part-time treasurer starting on November 17th. And his first board meeting where he will attend will be on December 11th. So we're excited to have him with us. And I have a couple of resolutions that I'm going to read, and I'm going to make a motion for the board to approve. And so bear with me, it's a lot of reading. The first one is resolution number 2025-1113-1, dated 11/13/2025. It's for the establishment of new funds with NICLAS. And it goes like this: whereas the New Rochelle Public Library currently maintains a capital fund with NICLAS, and whereas the Board of Trustees recognizes the need to organize and manage library funds in a manner that supports operational, reserve, and donation-related activities, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the New Rochelle Public Library hereby amends its proceedings and ratifies the creation of the following funds with NICLAS in addition to the existing capital fund. 1, operational fund to manage day-to-day operational expenses. 2, reserve fund to set aside funds for future contingencies or planned expenditures. 3, gift and donation fund to receive and manage monetary contributions and donations from patrons, the Library Foundation, and the Friends of the Library. Be it further resolved that the officers of the library are authorized and directed to take all necessary actions to establish and manage these funds in accordance with NICLAS procedures and applicable regulations. I will make a motion for the board to accept this resolution. May I have a second? Nancy, is there any discussion, any questions on this resolution?
No.
Otherwise, all in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? All right, so the first resolution passes. And resolution number 2, number 2025-1113, number 2, dated November 13th, 2025. The subject is the transfer of funds to NICLAS operating and gifts and donation accounts. Whereas the New Rochelle Public Library maintains accounts with NICLAS for the purpose of managing its funds efficiently, and whereas the Board of Trustees has determined that certain funds should be allocated to specific NICLAS accounts to support operations and manage donations, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of New Rochelle Public Library authorizes the transfer of funds as follows. Number 1, $1,750,000 to the NICLAS operating fund to support day-to-day operational expenses. Number 2, $150,000 to the NICLAS gifts and donations fund to manage contributions from patrons, the Library Foundation, and the Friends of the Library. Be it further resolved that the transferred funds shall accrue interest in accordance with NICLAS policy in the best interest of the library. Be it further resolved that the officers of the library are authorized and directed to take all actions necessary to effectuate these transfers and to ensure proper accounting and reporting of these funds. I will make a motion to pass this resolution. May I have a second, please? Tatiana? Are there any questions, any discussion on this resolution? Then I will ask for a vote. All in favor, please.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution passes. Thank you.
Great.
The budget committee, I can talk, will meet again next Wednesday, November 19th at 8:30 a.m. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Okay. Next, we'll go to buildings and grounds. And I'll report out building and grounds. The Building and Grounds Committee continues evaluation of architectural firms for the library space use study and scheduled an additional in-person interview, which was conducted yesterday with HMA2 firm. The committee also reviewed Calgary's $27,850 cost estimate proposal related to a potential May 2026 proposal and agreed to proceed while confirming whether the work overlaps with the proposed architects that we're currently talking to. And we've agreed to move ahead. The committee emphasized the need for clear documentation and coordination as we continue down this process. That is a report out for the Buildings and Grounds Committee. And next is community relations.
Well, I'll report on the committee. As co-chair of the Community Relations Committee, the committee met on October 27th and was called to order by Nancy Weinberger. The the Community Relations Committee met to discuss ongoing outreach efforts, communication initiatives, and planning priorities. We reviewed committee responsibilities. Tatiana reported on attending the Trinity PTA, and will continue bilingual outreach for South End schools. And we discussed the updates on organizational changes that are being made in the community relations processes at the library. The committee will meet again on November 26th at 9 a.m.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to the Personnel Committee.
I have an approved consent agenda for personal resolutions number 202511, according to the recommended action for item number 1. Oh, I need to make the motion first, sorry. I'm making a motion to approve consent agenda for personal resolutions number 2025-11, according to the recommended action for item number 1.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor? Any opposed? No.
So it's passed. All right. So also the personnel committee met on October 21st, and we discussed the ADP transition, which is progressing well. Also, the staffing and supervisor training continue, and adult services is shifting toward programming and outreach. We also, the committee also discussed a possible Juneteenth closure for 2026, and we will begin to work on an employee handbook. The next meeting will be Tuesday, November 18 at 9 a.m.
Thank you. Next, we'll have the Policy Committee.
Yeah. Hi, good evening, everyone. So the Policy Committee met this month on Monday, November the 3rd. Attendees were myself, Tatiana Infante, Lucille Renwick, our board president, Rivera Salter. We discussed our meeting calendar. Our next meeting is going to be Monday, December the 1st at 9 a.m. And our subsequent meeting will be held Monday, January the 5th at 10 a.m. So that's a 1-hour difference in time. We went through our policy tracker, which has been a way for us to just kind of keep track of what policies we're working on, what we've passed, and what's upcoming. Then we moved into the discussion of the policies that I'm going to be bringing to you this evening. One is the room rental use, or known as the facility use revision. That was a policy that was passed previously, but this is a revision to it. There was an FAQ that our committee member Vera Salter generously wrote. We separated that from the policy so that way it wouldn't have to be updated. That was a recommendation by our director. So the second policy, and sorry, one thing to note with the facility use policy is that this does allow for people who would like to rent the theater to request to have food or beverages. So there's now a pathway towards that. And there's an application that's in addition to it. So that's outlined within the policy. There's also the overtime cost increased slightly to include our security guard. So that way the library isn't paying out of pocket for that. So that's a slight increase of $50 or $51, excuse me, for that. And those were the main parts of the policy that the differentiation between the previous policy and the new one. Something else that I'd like to, there's also a few notices where we ask that people who are renting, please make a distinction to note that their program may not be, it's not sponsored by the library. So just for clarity for our public so that they understand who is actually sponsoring each program. So that's one note that's inside of the new policy. The next policy that we discussed and are presenting this evening is going to be the panic button policy. This is going to be a part of a larger suite of policies that are related to workplace violence prevention. So this policy just shares the fact that there are panic buttons here and how they could be used. So this is going to be instrumental in the staff understanding how those could be used and for our public to know this as well. And the third policy that we discussed was the adult volunteer policy, which our executive director mentioned in her director's report. This is an exciting policy for us because volunteers, and I think the trustees know something about volunteers, as we all are volunteers. Volunteers are an integral part of the library experience. It's a pathway for people to show their concern and do something that affects really the lives of many people in the community. So this policy outlines a way for our adults to volunteer. It helps them understand the application process, tells them where to get their applications. It tells them about the protocols and just how they would identify themselves so the public knows that they are like wearing a badge so that they'll know that these are our volunteers. And that policy we're also bringing to you. The upcoming policies to be discussed are going to be our programming policy, staff development and education, which is still being worked on, and the workplace violence prevention policy. So those are some of the policies that are coming up. So with that, I would like to make a motion that the board approve the facilities rental policy, the revision to the facilities rental policy.
I second.
Can I,
Yeah,
do?
sure.
Oh, I thought that, I'm
No,
sorry.
no,
I
no.
thought that
You make the motion. Go
president
ahead.
did. Okay, so I'd like to make a motion that the board accept the facilities rental policy.
Yeah, there's a second. This one.
I'll second the motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I call for the
Questions? Any questions?
Are there any questions? Sorry.
No.
No questions? Seeing none?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
None?
All right.
Okay,
That's approved and passed.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion that the board approve the panic button policy.
Second?
I'll second.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rhiannon. Are there any questions about this policy? Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And I'd like to make a third motion and final motion that the board approve the adult volunteer policy.
There you go. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Are there any questions? No?
Questions?
Okay, seeing none.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Great. So all three policies have passed: the adult volunteer policy, the panic button policy, as well as the facilities rental policy. Thank you. Yes, go ahead.
So I just want to add, I want to thank the trustees and thank Fala and the policy committee for all your work. The panic button policy and the adult volunteer policy are 100% staff led. So these are policies that from their inception were work done by staff. They were vetted and edited and wordsmithed. And then finally, I saw a much more completed, finalized version that was then presented to the policy committee. So policy can sometimes be perceived of as dry. I'm not sure why, but people think it's boring. But when you involve stakeholders in the policy making, that's when the real magic happens. So thank you, everybody, because these are policies that not only are staff driven, but they're really going to improve our services and improve the work that we do here every day. So thank you.
Thank you. So it's more of from the bottom up versus top down. Okay, thank you. I have not seen the approval of check warrants.
I got that.
You have it?
Yep,
Okay, great.
Yep.
I have here the consent agenda for checks and warrants for the fiscal year 2025-2026 warrants number 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. I would like to make a motion for the board to approve these warrants.
All right, is there a second? Okay. Questions? No. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so approvals, checks and warrants have passed and those checks will be issued.
And I'm passing around the sheet for everybody to sign. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Okay. Any resolutions? I don't believe there are any. No resolutions. Okay, any old business? None that I've seen. There's one piece of new business. There's a new annual credit card policy employee agreement and acknowledgement. The employee is Sandra Perez, has been signed off by the director Eugenia as well as myself. So that is new business that will be recorded and approved by the Board of Trustees. November 13th, today, 2025. Okay. Public comment? Anyone sign up? No public comment.
Do we have to vote on the credit card policy or no?
We should vote, okay. Going back to the new business on the credit card policy for employee Sandra Perez. I'll make a motion to approve the credit card policy for Sandra Perez. Can I get a second? Okay. Any questions?
I just want to, and could we just mention Sandra Perez's, her role at the library?
Senior clerk.
Senior clerk, okay, thank you.
Split between circulation and ad.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Good question. Uh, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So we've approved and passed Sandra Perez as part of the new employee agreement for credit card policies. Thank you very much. That and there's no public comment. So that being said, I would like to adjourn this meeting at 7:57 PM. Make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Can I get a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor? Any opposed? Thank you all for your time. Have a good day.
You.